The following program is rated TV MAL. It contains strong language and is intended only for mature audiences.
Oh, there we go. All right. I don't know how he does that one thing at a time, but anyway, that's why I'm not in charge all the time. Welcome to Friday night and welcome to the War Room. FDR is back in the saddle and we're headed straight to communism this time. There's no stopping us now. Just kidding. So Appalachian American is I don't know if he may join in later. We'll see. We shall see. But writing along myself, Channel Dad Brian Lape is author David Applegate.
G'day, friends and fans. Welcome to another War Room. Now, the sound here outside is not rain. That's liberal tears spilling over the ice wall into the down under.
All right. And from the other side of the country, Anime Night.
Hey guys, what's up? Still enjoying those liberal tears and watching the celebrities have egotistical meltdowns. Also, Don Lemon leaving for good. Yes, please. And also Rosie also leaving X and a few others. No, that was Jamie Lee Curtis.
King, good riddance.
Oh, so basically they're going over to Blue Sky. Oh, they think they can run from us. We could just make an account. We could just make an account there and continue to remind them how irrelevant they are.
Actually, I think the best thing is silence. The thing they hate the most
peacefully
is
here,
no
and legally here, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah,
the thing
I
they
agree
really
with
hate
David.
is no engagement.
They crave the attention. So
that's why they do it, man. Because they say, "Oh, look at the engagement. I'm very popular."
Yeah. Yes, if they were really just moving because whatever and not for the attention, they would just close their account and not say anything. So, but anyway,
What's the bet
and
Zuckerbucks also has something to do with it.
Yeah, and I don't know. This camera, I guess I can't zoom out. It's why it's too wide. I don't need the back. Just come in here. But anyway, a bit tighter. I was getting real close. But I tell you what, there's so many things that are alight on X / Twitter. But one of the glorious things that I've seen clips on Facebook, I've seen clips on Twitter, I've seen clips on BitChute and other places, is the absolute apoplectic meltdown of the Dems over Mr. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. He's only doing what he's been doing for almost 40 years.
For 12 years they absolutely adored and admired him.
Yeah,
and that was right up until when he was suing the FDA. They used to love him until Obama got in, and then they said, "Okay, we're in charge now. You can stop." Because see, they mistake everything everybody does for just politics. Okay, that it's just to attack Republicans. It's not actually to achieve anything.
No. Well, it's the two-party game, right? The whole two-party setup is, is one side's over here trying to protect the little guy, and the other side's trying to get the little guy, when it's really this side's controlling the little guy, and the repugs are always supposed to be the bad guy. Yeah, what's funny is I've seen videos of Robert as well as Tulsi. They'll talk about a Democrat Party that never existed. Never. It was never the free speech party. It was never anti-war. It was just anti whatever the Republicans were doing, because we're supposed to be doing this.
Actually,
While they have everyone look over here at the evil Republicans, while they steal money from them.
Yeah, remember, Truman called themselves the Freedom Party, and that fell apart because he didn't pass civil rights. And then to get civil rights passed, he had to sign on the Republicans, because no Democrat would stand for civil rights.
Yeah.
And to this day, people forget it was the Republicans who introduced the Civil Rights Bill. It was the Republicans who passed it. But because it was a Democrat president, they say it was the Democrats.
Yeah.
And again, they had to repeatedly pass that bill because it kept getting expired.
Yeah. 100% Republican support in both houses of Congress. Minimal support from the Democrats to get it through.
It was only the second time. The first time it was zero, including JFK and Robert Kennedy.
Yeah.
Well,
part of the problem as I view it, as part of the problem with that is it was essentially creating a special class of citizen. And then the Democrats eventually figured out, we can use this to control people. Although I think Johnson knew that, just by his comments that he said.
Yeah.
And then they were off and running, and they use it as it's just like welfare. It's like Social Security, right? This is how they got a hold of old people for a long time. The Republicans are going to take your Social Security.
Which they aren't. They aren't going to do it.
Because and yet
because Trump said, "Look, I want to cut taxes on this because."
But they go around multiple times telling them that cutting taxes will close their facilities, and everybody knows these places only run because of subsidies. But Republicans don't want to close them; they want to actually get rid of the corruption and the inefficiency.
Well, I would say the non-establishment.
The non-establishment. Thank you. Yes.
Go ahead.
Non-establishment.
You're on Social Security, from my understanding, right? I'm trying to gauge.
Who, me or David? Or who are you talking about?
Well,
yes, I'm on a. Yes, I admit I'm on a pension. I'm disabled. I have a mental illness.
And Leif, I know you already have a job, so I know you probably don't have the Social Security.
No, but he's a payer. He's a contributor.
Right.
So
go ahead.
So this is how I see it. If they were to cut taxes, David would be getting a bit more money if he were here with us in the States.
I'd get less if I was in the States right now because of the value of the currency. Yeah. See, a few years ago, the Australian currency was very high because of the oil boom, but oil booms don't last.
There's a gentleman I spoke with who also lives out in Australia. I heard horror stories over there and everything of how the Australian government really is.
Yeah,
David, we need to get you. We need to get you out of there because I'm volunteering to buy a Black Hawk
in this country have voted Labor for their entire lives, and now they are like absolutely livid because they were given $50 subsidy, right, on and yet the cost of living has risen by $100 in 3 years.
Mm-hmm. We need to fly an Apache Black Hawk helicopter out there to you, like any one of those silent looking ones, and then be like, "Hey, David, come with us. Don't just bring your bag. That's it. Just bring your bag and passport. That's it."
See, also what they've done to a lot of Australians is basically tell them they can't retire to another country until 72 or 74.
Oh, that's garbage. That is garbage.
Well, the problem is, the problem is and is that there's an entire industry around Social Security, not just in Australia, not just in England. It's pretty much based on the FDR model. You know, for every pensioner, there's a pile of bureaucrats. You know,
Yeah.
and if they cut the bureaucracy in half, you could just give us that $100 that cost of living pay rise. But they don't, because they need the votes. The FDR model is put enough people in government that are dependent on government so that they'll vote for the government, because they know as soon as the Republicans get in, and that's why you have so many people out there demonizing Republicans. They're going to slash services, because all the people are selfishly voting, as Anne Ryan predicted, and many others, all the way back to the founders, warned you against government dependency. And that as soon as the masses start voting for their self-interest, it's over for democracy, because they'll just start voting to take more of your stuff.
Yep.
I mean,
no, that was what's his name? Tocqueville said that it'll work as long as a majority don't figure out they can vote to take from the other side.
Hamilton, Jefferson, they all warned against the dangers of democracy and called for constitutionally limited governments.
Yep. Well, even the concept of welfare is illegal, right? That was discussed in the very beginnings of the country, and eventually FDR got it passed, even though it would require an amendment to actually allow it.
Yeah.
Well, we know FDR was a communist. I mean, that's what they mean. The Democrats, this is the other thing, too, that's been driving me nuts. So as we have people all screaming and hollering about RFK.
Right. FDR was daily talking to Stalin.
Right. The party that RFK Jr. describes is what I think his uncle and father were trying to create in the Democrats. At least that ideal. I don't, and that's the thing, is I don't remember. I mean, it's been 40 years since I've been in history class, but what I don't remember is where this myth came from, right? Because the Democrats gave us the Sedition Act, they gave us the Insurrection Act, they gave us World Wars I and II, and they got us into Vietnam, they got us into Korea, they got us into the Spanish-American War in the 1890s. This whole thing that they controlled the peace movement, right? And that started organically. And then, as we now know, CIA and other three-letter agencies infiltrated, but it was controlled by the Democrat Party. Yeah. And so they, the only time they're anti-war is when it's a Republican president.
Yeah.
They get all that money from Raytheon and others.
Yeah. I think the myth of the Republic, I know the myth of the Demon Republican Party came out of the attacks on Lincoln from the South, right? Most of them are just straight off talking points, straight from the Confederacy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I could see that. Well, he wanted to take their slaves away. This is why they're yelling and screaming at Republicans now. They want to take their slaves away.
Because they want to take their slaves away and send them home, yeah. But who will pick our crops and clean our toilets?
If you get hungry enough, you'll go pick your own damn crops.
Here's Sharon. Like every other homeowner, you clean your own toilets. But here's the thing about FDR that a lot of people do not understand. He, as governor of New York, pretty much took over the New York Times. And this is where I believe the myth of the Republican Democrat Party was born, where he appointed editors through the editorial commission, right? Mm-hmm. The New York, I forget what they called it, but it became known as the editorial commission because every time the New York Times hired somebody, they always went through the labor board, right? Through the New York Labor Board. That's how they pretty much started to filter out the Republicans, because people forget. Reporters used to be blue-collar schlaps, okay? And they hated the government and they hated FDR. But over his time in the as governor of New York, he filtered out a lot of reporters.
Yep.
And the Labor board kept saying, "No, you can fire him. He's printed misinformation, or he's violated somebody's privacy." They always found ways to basically have reporters chucked off the beat.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, FDR got appointed to Secretary of Navy, and he embarked on the world's biggest building program at a time when there was no indication of war. And he also saw the biggest transfer of wealth to the communists in China. Arms and wealth in extraordinary circumstances, just like they did with Ukraine and many other wars, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah. It's the thing about. I mean, there's warmongers in both parties, right? They get
that's true.
the
FDR
fundings,
could have got away with it if there wasn't a compliant Senate or a compliant opposition.
When World War II broke out across the world, right? The Republicans nearly 100% were not getting involved, and then after this is one of the theories about why the government allowed Pearl Harbor to happen the way it did, was to get support for a war. And at that time, the Republicans were for a war with Japan, right? Because they attacked us, right? So that
the Republicans wanted a settlement with Japan over the shipment of arms to China.
Yeah,
but FDR crossed the red line. He sent a massive shipment and tried to run the blockade at Shanghai Harbor.
Yeah. Well, and then if I remember correctly, too, we ended up in Africa before we did anything with Japan.
Well, the thing is,
well, no, that's not true.
Doolittle's
raid over Tokyo was pretty early.
Doolittle's raid over Tokyo. Yeah, I was going to say Halsey and he's. We'll end the war quickly. We'll just we'll destroy all of Tokyo, and they won't have, and we'll destroy the heads of government.
Yeah, and it really was barely symbolic.
Actually, they killed hundreds of thousands of civilians, though. Yay, team.
Well, that was the atomic bombs later, but
the first raid on Tokyo, the firebombing of Tokyo, killed hundreds of thousands of civilians.
Well, I didn't think they did that much damage. I thought they barely got any of
they
bombers there.
Partly, they dropped incendiaries on the housing, killing hundreds of thousands of Japanese women in their wooden homes as they burnt.
Yeah. But anyway, so what's been back to the original topic, what's been delicious to me is
meltdown,
watching these people that, well, what's really telling is it's making the case of why he was running independent, right? And unlike Bernie, at least so far, he hasn't been able to be bought off, right? Bernie was an independent. Now he was a bit of a wackadoodle and communist, but they eventually said, hey, here's some.
He's
hey, how'd you like to be in the Millionaires Club, right? Yeah. But I don't see it any different than the likes of Reagan and John Wayne and others who left the Democrat Party in the 60s and 70s when it started to become more leftist and more. I mean, it had been for a long time. It's just it finally got to a temperature that people noticed that they were
Donahue
Marxists.
When they I can't remember John. They confronted John Wayne on one of the talk shows and asked him why he isn't endorsing the Democrats. He said they're not Democrats; they're communists.
Yeah. Well, and he was talking. I saw a thing with him. I want to say it was early 70s, like 72 or 74. Yeah. I think it was 72, and he was talking about family values, all these things that they joke about. It's like the Democrats were getting rid of all that. I mean, the early, Margaret Sanger and other feminists of the early 20th century, there's a reason why they were all Democrats, right? It's no coincidence that and then in more recent times that we still forget, and this drives me nuts that Tim Pool and others who are supposed to be in the know don't ever talk about this. The censorship that there were some Christian preachers in this too, so you can say it's a little bit of Republicans, but the urge to put the warning labels, the censor records, and to censor music, that was led by Tipper Gore and a few other Democrat senators.
Yeah.
Right? It's like people say,
Lieberman.
they stand for
Oh,
censorship now.
Lieberman.
It's like,
you mean tip on her pussy, Gore?
yeah, but they were they've been for censorship since at least the Sedition Act. That was the whole point in 1918, was to shut up Republicans who were complaining and protesting U.S. involvement in World War One.
Yeah.
So this is not new. That's 106 years ago.
Yes.
The thing is, I saw recently a post by this Christian group saying that America sold out its values for a man who cheated on his wife. Really? Because Biden cheated on his wife?
Yeah,
he banged
his daughter in the showers. So
yeah.
Now we don't know what all happened in there, but it was not appropriate. We'll just put it that way.
Yeah.
And him going around sniffing kids' hairs.
Yeah.
Him going around sniffing children's hairs. And they say Michael Jackson's the bad guy. We didn't see Michael Jackson do that.
Yeah.
So
but
who's really the bad guy here?
But you also got to remember, what was it under Clinton when they changed the IRS so that the government could control churches? So, hey, you don't do what we say, we'll pull your 401. Was it not 401?
403.
It's the 403.
403.
Well, that's 403. That's 403B is your retirement thing from a nonprofit, but the nonprofit
status
because they're tax exempt. It's I forget what it. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I don't remember if it was Clinton or if it was before.
There's two types of tax exempt. There's one for religious groups and there's one for non-religious groups. And if they lose their religious group status, they lose their religious group retirement benefits, right? Because they pay no taxes on that also.
Yeah, but the thing is that I don't remember if it was Clinton that started that, but
we know under FDR he tried to control the churches direct. And if you also notice, there's been ever since the Catholic Church supported abortion, there's been no lawsuits on abuse.
Oh, did they support it? I didn't know they did that. I know they were contraception, but I didn't know about abortion. That seems a bit.
No, it was about 2 years ago. Recently, somebody pulled up a speech by the Pope and said, "Yeah, did you know this?"
Oh. Well, it's not surprising, but Democrat-friendly churches, they
also have government money for NGOs.
They have politicians coming in and campaigning all the time.
Yeah, but they also get NGO money as well off the government. So
so it's all a scam. It's just who's which one they're going to enforce. But anyway, I am looking forward to
we need a constitutional
RFK
amendment.
can do. Can get to our food and get this. And there's quite a bit of evidence that no vaccine has ever actually helped anything. I'm not quite there yet, but it is very compelling.
There is a study that did investigate the polio vaccine. I forget the other two, but they said, what they're saying is since then, right? They've stacked it on, always using the success of the polio and measles and smallpox.
Yeah.
But you've got to remember, those vaccines were made with different technologies than what they use in modern vaccines.
Yeah. Well, and some of those, my understanding is the sanitation improved and some of that stuff was headed already way down before the vaccines were ever even.
Well, you got to remember when they did the mass vaccination for smallpox, it was already in massive decline. Yes.
Yeah. So it's one of those things. Exactly. How do you argue that? Now, I would say if you have poor sanitation, there's a good chance a vaccine can help you. But
Well, for how long?
right,
That's the
and
question.
nowadays too in the U.S. we have the sickest population on the planet, and we
Yeah, the sickest,
put
and
these things.
yeah.
Yeah, we put these things in kids' arms long before their immune systems can develop. It used to be, I think, nothing was until 2 or 3 years
It used
old.
to be nothing under 3, then it was 2, then it
Yeah,
was 6 months. Now it's
I mean,
at
they
birth.
stabbing kids is and
And
it's
again,
insane.
every person has what's called pattern recognition. Okay, 1
Mhm.
+ 1 = 2. Yet Democrats seem to use the self node to override pattern recognition, because everybody knows, right? The lawsuits against smoking did not prove smoking caused cancer. All they had to do is prove that as smoking rose, cancer rose in a similar rate. Now,
Right.
RFK did that with autism. Did he get celebrated by Democrats? No. He got shut
No.
down by Obama under
Yeah.
executive order.
Yeah. So, but
National security. They called
they
it a healthcare crisis.
they are definitely afraid of him, and Tulsi as well. I mean, they are
Tulsi, I think, is
scared to
different.
death.
I think it's because Tulsi could deliver young women,
Yeah.
and basically she allegedly, I don't know if this is true or not, has talked people out of abortions before. So they're just afraid of her influence. With RFK, they're afraid of what he knows,
Oh yeah.
because
Oh
don't forget,
yeah.
he has all that discovery from prior lawsuits, 12 of which he won against Pfizer and had billions in fines levied against them.
Yep. Oh no,
And
he's
That's what they're.
also, we also have Elise Elise Stefanki for UN ambassador, and I feel like Trump here, he did learn
China
his
pissed
lesson.
themselves when he did that. China pissed themselves.
Because it goes to show. I mean, I'm looking at all these pics. It looks, and I can safely say that he did learn his lesson from the first time around. Because remember,
Now, a lot of people are
Trump.
screaming about Marco Rubio, but again, he's
Well,
been picked.
well.
Hold on. Rubio was picked because he is one of the few senators who has been consistent on China.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's
And he's,
that and everything. And yeah, I mean, we would love to watch
and don't
China
forget,
be.
Trump has not many. Let's just say there's not a lot of people out there he has to choose from because of how many people in DC are compromised.
Right.
Yeah, that's true. But time will tell with Rubio. But I hope he knows what he's
I hope
doing.
he takes this blessing, because there are people out there who won't forget or forgive this time round.
And but the good news is he doesn't have to worry about Nancy Peabody Pelosi or Turtleneck McConnell. He doesn't have to worry about them.
Who else are they worried about? Matt
No,
Gaetz?
Pelosi's going for re-election, man. What are you talking about?
Yes, she has.
But she doesn't have that power anymore. Remember, she doesn't have the House Speaker anymore. She doesn't.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
So
but
she can't do.
She can yank on a few Republicans' chains and get them to.
Well, she can't physically do anything about it, but it doesn't stop. But you are correct. It doesn't stop her from like saying, "Hey, here's some money. Here's some."
Got to remember, she
money.
attacked a senator in the halls of power in front of a security guard, physically assaulted people, and got away with it.
Where's the pimp glove at? Where's the pimp glove? I need a pimp glove here.
Yeah.
Because believe me, Daddy Anime Night would have a few words.
Yeah, but you got to remember, Nancy Pelosi's father was organized crime, so what do you expect?
Oh please, he couldn't organize his diapers nowadays. He ain't.
Well, her father was the corrupt mayor of Baltimore, who was found to have ties with organized crime.
And we wonder why Baltimore is the pile of crap. Look who left it.
Yeah, well, people can't seem to have pattern recognition. That's what I said. Hey, see, everything's horrible. The education system's in disarray. Okay, let's get rid of the cause, the Department of Education. No, we need them more than ever. Why?
And also we
They
also
can't seem to
have
recognize failure when it's their side. They totally override that recognition of failure. Whether
Well,
it's
it's because they
also-
don't believe that they can fail, right?
no, that's
Failure
true.
is only something
they
the
think they're
Republicans
perfect,
do.
and it's just Republicans sabotaging them. That's right.
Right.
They have a cope.
And we also have Tom Homan, who I think would be perfect because he's a no
They're
nonsense
screaming
guy.
about him, yet he was appointed by Obama originally.
Yeah, they're screaming about it because they're like, we don't want you. We
remember,
don't like
you know who was tougher than Trump on the border when he first came in?
him. He was a lot
Obama.
tougher.
Obama didn't want the illegals because he promised the black community he'd get their jobs back in Detroit, and he failed.
Oh yeah, he failed miserably because my stepdad who lives out there, he's worked in the motor industry as long as I can remember. When
Obama had
Eminem
go around promising
he
everybody
tell you
jobs.
if he were on this panel right now, he would tell you straight up, like he would tell you straight up that Obama was full of shit. He would fit nicely on this panel, but he doesn't do videos.
Wasn't Obama heckled recently? Or I know that was censored, but he was heckled. But
he
we don't
was
know
heckled.
He
was heckled, and then let's see
by
who
a black
else
man.
We got okay. So Pete Hegseth, Pete Hegseth for defense secretary. Yes,
let's say he's not qualified because he's been 8 years at Fox News. I'd like to remind you of something. Do you know who was the Secretary of Navy in 1936? The fascist dictator Roosevelt. Now, what's interesting, he never served in the Navy. He never served in any armed forces. So before you go around saying that Pete, I believe he achieved the rank of, was it captain or major?
He is,
He has served. He does have a distinguished career. But remember, FDR and many people in DC have never served, and yet they're in positions of power. You have generals whose war career is, I followed Schwarzkopf in Iraq. You know.
So let's get this right. We also got Lee Zeldin as EPA head.
Yeah, he's a good pick because he's an organizer. Look at the campaign he ran in New York. He came within 1% of winning. Now we also have Sean Spicer for Navy Secretary. Steve Bannon might be coming back as press secretary, but this might be temporary. Now, Spicer's appointment also might be temporary. He has spoken with Trump about it, but no word if that's true or not. But he is on a short list for an appointment, so is Spicer. Now, Sean Spicer has served. He was a Navy reservist who achieved the rank of commander. And his name has been floated around as many administration loyalists are all headed to Mar-a-Lago for interviews for various positions. Now, I think these are strategic leaks coming from within the campaign itself. Not, they're not speculation. I believe they're strategic leaks to gauge public opinion. Because a lot of people don't like Sean Spicer. They found him too weak.
Yeah, get rid of Pompeo and
no, Pompeo and Haley. Pompeo and Haley are on the do not call list.
Yeah,
Trump
and
put
also
out a do not call list to the campaign.
A few other ones too.
Yeah, Liz Cheney and
so
all
we
those
got.
others.
No.
I'm talking about this list is about 200 rhinos. Yeah, nobody in my administration is to call these people, and there's like a list. Cheney, all of them. Yeah.
And
All
we
the
also
rhinos.
got Mike Waltz for National Security Advisor, which is good. We need more people who do align with
China
Trump
Hawk.
views.
She pissed
Yep.
his pants over that one too.
Oh, and Homeland Security Secretary. Oh, this is great. Christy Nome. She's been. I have nothing bad to say.
That's really good. Hey,
No,
she's
she's
got
beautiful.
all the liberals whining. Oh no, not the dog killer. Well, you're the baby killer, so you know.
Yeah, you're no different. There's no difference because
No, the difference is she was trying to be merciful to a wounded animal. Yeah,
which is fine because but yeah,
but you know what's really got him upset? Trump is apparently not going to have a climate czar. Oh no! What's going to happen? What's going to happen to all those unnecessary illegal bureaucrats who were hired under the Biden administration? Because it is, right? There is no official climate position.
What about Ratcliffe? What about him? What's your take on him?
Apparently, he's going for a permanent position rather than one of these advisory roles or undersecretaries. I think Ratcliffe is up for something. I just don't know.
Because I know
he and others were spotted.
He's going to try. Trump wants him for CIA director, which would be nice. And if you could,
well, the problem with the CIA is that it's a club within a club within a club. Okay, they've got so many secret squirrel organizations. They've lost track of them all. Right? When you got 27 different spy agencies, you have a serious problem.
I'm glad that RFK is going to be head of CIA because I highly doubt they would listen to him. I highly doubt.
Oh, they
probably threaten them.
But don't forget, most of these positions are administrators who just oversee who gets hired and who gets fired. But I think the big one is who gets education, because that's a department that
that's the big one right there. Yeah, that's the big one right there. Fine. Oh, by the way, can we say that
they're going to be dodged?
Actually, can we say that Miss Caroline Leavitt for White House Press Secretary? Yes, please. I would like to see a hot chick on the podium, please. I am so sick. I couldn't even tune into the press briefings anymore because every time I see KGP, I feel like smashing my head against the wall.
Look, one reason why they want Sean Spicer back is because he's so middle of the road. Okay, he's not going to say something stupid for attention, like, and he actually does go out of his way to answer reporters' questions. Some of the reporters actually have said Sean Spicer's a better pick, only because the other name on the list was Alex Jones.
Doug Burgum for Interior Department. That would be nice. We need.
I should appoint.
We need, but the education one. I'm curious what he's going to do about that one. That's the big one right there because we already got the CIA covered. We already got the Secretary of State, the State Department, the EPA, and a few other ones. We need, but I need to know who's going to be involved in Department of Education because right now,
we want
serious house clean. It needs a serious house clean.
What will decide the agenda, I think, is who he appoints to the departments nobody likes. IRS, Treasury, etc.
Oh, wait a minute. Did he announce? Did he announce anybody for Treasury? Did he announce anybody?
I don't think so.
Are we still waiting? Okay, so
we're still waiting for the big ones. Yeah.
So we're waiting on the education, the Treasury. What else are we waiting on? I think that's it because we already got everybody else.
Interior State has been covered. CIA is the FBI director. We don't know what he's going to do with Ray. I don't think
So
Ray
we
wants.
have. So we have three things to look out for: the education, the Treasury, and the FBI.
Yeah, but I think with the FBI, it'll have to be one of the. It has to be an internal promotion, isn't it? Because it's not an agency; it's an agency, not a department. Although Hoover hired outside, yeah.
I'd
But then
rather be
again,
somebody who knows what they're doing.
then again, they could appoint somebody from Homeland Security Investigations to run the investigation of the FBI. And that will really
I
put
just
the wolf amongst the sheep, because
Sorry, guys. I'm looking. One of my dogs is here, and I gotta. I think I need to let him out. You guys keep chatting. I'll be right back.
all right.
alrighty.
All right. Now,
But
I don't know who else
but,
is Trump. I don't have there are a whole list of political appointments, right? Trump is making them all before he gets into office. He's announced Stephen Chung as communications director. Don't forget, there's a couple of hundred jobs that he has to pick. His campaign correspondent staying on, chief of staff and all those have already been organized. Let's see. Caroline Leavitt is to be. Oh no,
Yep.
Caroline Leavitt.
Ain't she beautiful?
White House.
She's 27, and I'm like, well, I guess it's not too late to start dating.
Also,
but what's your full take though, David? What's your full take on all these things?
He's also had an active mum. So yeah.
Oh, wait a minute.
I think he's really going for a broad spectrum of experience. Like, he's not going just for the old. He's going also for the clever, people who are clever and up and coming.
And also, don't forget.
Here's the big thing. Kamala Harris has finally broken the silence and admitted she paid for endorsements. She won't say the exact amount, but she did agree that it was in the millions.
I am so glad.
David, I
woke up this morning feeling so happy that Clinton and now Harris are not president. I had a nice cup.
Wow.
I had a nice cup of orange juice.
Mm-hmm.
A fresh.
They found somebody less popular than Biden.
Uh-oh.
The Peruvian president, whose approval rating is just 4%. Yeah, Steve Bannon's urged Trump to rip apart the FBI and return merely to active duty so he could face court-martial. Yeah, Mali, as you know, General, stepped down so he wouldn't face an inquiry over his ties to Raytheon. And the disastrous decision to end decisions in Ukraine, because he was the chief advisor on the US side.
It's just weird that Biden looked really happy when he was sitting next to Trump.
Kudlow was asked whether or not he'd be in the running for Treasury Secretary, and apparently he may turn it down.
No, we don't want another.
It may make sense because Larry is making a fortune at Fox, and it's like his last job. Okay, you never quit your last job
because we don't want that that clown. We don't want another Timothy Geithner. We don't want
don't want clowns in there, but I know Kudlow would do a good job.
Larry Summers and Timothy Geithner are my two most hated people on the planet. Because I do not like either of them, and we don't want another copy of those two clowns. The fact that they're still walking is. Go ahead.
Turns out that Hillary Clinton nominated RFK Jr. for health secretary under Obama.
and, now they're back
Thank you,
at
Hillary.
home.
We accept it. Nomination
Thank
accepted.
you.
Thank you, Hillary.
Yeah, we'll accept that. That's the only good thing you fucking did.
We do, yeah. But apparently Obama didn't think he was qualified enough. And it's like, what?
Well, now he has a chance to be like, you know what? I'm still in this. But I can't wait to see what he does in terms of like drinking water and everything.
Texas has demanded. Oh, Dan Crenshaw.
I really.
Yeah, sorry.
No, the hell with him.
But he's done actually something interesting. He's actually nominated a bill to designate transnational cartels as a national security threat.
The only good thing he's probably done. I don't trust
House
him.
Resolution.
It's like, do your job for the American people.
Yeah, that's the problem, is that he only does his job election year.
Not do it every election cycle. Do your damn job.
That's it. Full stop.
Because remember, the 2026 midterms are coming up. If I were you,
that's what I'm saying. People.
If I were you, Crenshaw, either turn around now and start working for the American people, or you're done.
Merrick Garland started to cry.
We're tired of backstabbing 2-bit snakes. We're tired of it. We're tired. We just want America back. We want to live comfortably again and healthy again.
The problem is Democrats.
That's all we ask. That's all.
The problem is the problem with Democrats is they always think they have to help someone else. Really, most people out there don't want your help because your help always comes with conditions. It's your way of controlling people. It's your way of justifying controlling people. I wonder
if Zelensky got. I wonder.
Zelensky's having meetings with Trump. Zelensky is on the phone with Trump every day. He is really, he has made some really bizarre statements. I think Zelensky is in deep trouble and he knows it. And if Putin doesn't kill him, the CIA probably will. You know what I mean? Zelensky's failed in Ukraine. What happens to people who fail, Saddam? Or people who don't do what they're told? What's his name again in Libya? Gaddafi?
Yeah. I still think killing Gaddafi was the worst mistake. That was
a big mistake, but it was Hillary. Hillary having a hissy fit.
Yeah, it's like, I want Gaddafi out of there. I want Gaddafi out of there. I want that Gaddafi gone. I want that person gone.
Way. Zelensky says the war will end faster with Trump. I think that's true. Exactly. I think I think privately, Zelensky wants this war just to be over. I think the problem is he has too many war dogs in Ukraine who will kill him if he just announced an end to the war. He needs somebody else to do it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, speculation is rife over who he's going to pick for FBI, but apparently the Soros campaign has been caught trying to influence Trump through family ties. They won't say who, but Soros has been making phone calls to Trump family members. What a cunt. What a low. I wish that person was on a list. Press that drone button. I mean, Gaddafi, I would have, if it was between Gaddafi and Soros, Gaddafi, you get a pass every time.
I think Putin's also happy. He's like, welcome back, Mr. President. The actual.
You know who's really happy? One-term Biden. Because remember, when Biden got in, he
was smiling. He was that creeped
me out. Who voted for Trump?
Who?
Remember, if Kamala lost by one vote, allegedly, who cast that vote? Couldn't have been Joe and Jill, right?
Wait, wait a minute.
No, they're talking about DC. They're talking about all these swing states.
Can
Yeah.
the president vote for? Can the
They
president vote in an
The
election?
president does vote. Yes. Everybody.
Okay, that's why I want to make
Everybody
sure it's
can
within
vote. That's the
legal.
thing.
I want to make sure it's within legal bounds here. I want to make sure it's
No,
within legal bounds.
He just can't campaign on the day or within 200 meters of the booth. You know what I mean?
Oh, so he has to do
Oh.
like a mail-in
Biden's
thing,
gonna
like mail it.
Yeah, apparently Biden's last meetings are going to be with the Koreans and the Japanese before he returns back to America for the to begin the formal process of handover. Because don't forget, this is his last official month. December is, handover. December is the handover for January 20, right?
Yeah.
They spend most of December for doing handover stuff.
How much you want to bet, David, that Biden's going to do everything he can to make sure Trump gets in?
Look, if I was Biden,
I feel like this,
one of the last things I'd do is fire Kamala. I would fire her, make it official. She's been disloyal, she's been disruptive, and she's totally inefficient. But guess who was at Mar-a-Lago allegedly? The Argentinian president.
What's an Argentinian president doing there? We have no business there.
Actually, he does if he is talking with Milei about expanding the formal alliance. Because don't forget, a lot of South American countries are only tentative alliance, right? They're only allies on paper, and they swing from and their allegiances or whatever, and their friendship often depends on who's in government. And don't forget, Argentina's been in a big economic mess, and I think Trump is wanting some inside scoop on the Americans who have been working for Milei. Because don't forget, he had a lot of people helping him along the way. Milei didn't just stand alone. When the Milei movement took off, a lot of Americans who couldn't get jobs in DC, they go out overseas. And I think that's where he's I think that
do you think he's walking into a trap?
No, I think Trump needs all the allies he could get in that.
Yes. I hate being suspicious, but I want to make sure this is done with good intention. I'm for I still stand by what I said. About
the influence of countering the influence of China in South America.
I still stand by what I said. I'm all for foreign aid as long as it's going to something good.
Yeah, but I don't think it's aid this time. I don't think Malay's there to get aid. I think he's there to give a frank and honest report on what's been going on with US aid in his country. And
we do want to break.
A lot of people hate USAID because they see it either as CIA or as or pretty much, strings of control. A lot of countries don't like USAID. As the agency,
but we're
not
like that.
They love your money, but not the strings that come attached to it. But I think Malay isn't looking for a handout because Argentina's financially stable.
Yeah, because they kicked out the international mafia. Monetary
money fund. Yeah, and I think that's what Trump is looking at.
I had one of my friends go, "Come on, Emily, just say it." Because I'm like, all right, the international mafia fund, because that's what they really are. Yeah. That's and Argentina kicked them the crap.
Hey,
Argentina kicked them out. They're like, hey, look, we don't want you here. Yeah. They borrowed $10 billion.
Remember,
$10 billion from
Yugoslavia. Remember Godfather 2 and 3? They told you up front. There's the land. There's three kinds of mafia. There's the drug dealers, there's the landowners, and then there's the bankers.
Yeah, so what happened was what happened was and this is why I now respect Argentina now. I was a bit skeptical earlier, but I apologize. Argentina told the International Mafia Fund to get out, like get off our case. And so
Oh,
they
yeah.
went and they went to I think it was Yugoslavia at the time, and they borrowed $10 billion from Yugoslavia and gave it to the IMF and told them to go away. And then ever since they became, they're still in a bit of an economic mess, but they're starting to improve, which is a good sign. Because the minute you're under the boot of the International Mafia Fund, it's going to get worse for you. Forget national sovereignty. Forget your stuff. They take all that. And I feel like we don't need the International Monetary Fund. We don't need these guys. If we want to do business, we want to do business right. I'm all. That's why I'm telling people: go for trade, go for this, that, and the other. And also, it's like we gotta improve relations here and there. Because you're not wrong, David. Everybody hates the USA right now. You're not wrong. I'm not saying you're wrong, because I actually agree with you. There are some people who do hate America, but there are some people who I've spoken with.
It's the reason. It's the reason. It's the strings attached to aid that's pissing people off.
And
how do you think these organizations?
Where did the money go for Haiti? Where did the money go?
To fly Haitians into New York to vote for.
Ask the Clinton Foundation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, ask the Clintons. Oh, what about the fact that the Haitian whistleblower died 6 days before she was due to testify at the UN?
It's just an amazing coincidence. Yeah.
Stressful job. So many
sad coincidence. Yeah.
How many people know somebody who committed suicide? Maybe 1 in 10,000 or something like that. Whereas Hillary Clinton has 86 friends and associates who have self-Minecrafted.
I know maybe 2.
Yeah.
That are successful. Although one of them I'm not convinced. I think they actually did. I think they overdosed on something they didn't know was in their drugs.
Yeah. I had a neighbor who took too much insulin, couldn't take it anymore.
Yeah.
And I barely knew.
Then I guess I know 3 because yeah, that reminds me of someone who stopped taking his insulin because he couldn't take it anymore.
But he deliberately took the whole vial of insulin, or so they claim.
Wow, I would see that would put your blood sugar to 0 practically.
Yeah, basically put him into a coma and died shortly after. Yeah,
because that also might just whop the living crap out of his liver, trying to process all that.
But another reason why I think, going backwards, I know, but I just got another. Argentina has withdrawn from the UN climate conference.
Good.
And Trump is also talking about leaving the Paris Agreement, calling it Malay has called the climate crisis a socialist lie.
Yep. Well, it is.
And that it's nothing more than fundraising for civil society and other private sector groups. Yeah. Civil society, that's going to come up a lot. I wonder if Trump is going to investigate that.
Yeah.
Since it's civil society,
it's one of those
and all that,
magical problems that the only answer is to spend more money we don't have.
That's and who is civil society? Everything. Well, tell me this. They keep telling us the oceans are rising. Really? Then why did Obama buy beachfront property? Why is beachfront property not underwater yet? I mean, we've been hearing about oceans rising for how long now?
Yeah. Well, this is the lack of science education. And when you tell people that if the ice caps melt, the oceans will rise, but they won't because
But they won't, because ice takes up more room than water.
Yeah.
And
The
they're saying,
reason-
but Mount Fuji has no snow.
Speaking
Kilimanjaro. And yes,
breaking,
oh, sorry, man. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Breaking news.
Alex Jones just got back to InfoWars. The Onion got thrown in court and they lost.
That's not breaking. That happened this
Oh, I'm
morning.
sorry.
Oh, yeah. Alex Jones said that the auction was illegal, that they ignored higher bids in order to give it to the Onion, and it was
Yeah.
and the judge looked at the
An injunction was filed yesterday,
and the judge took one look at the video of the auction and said, "Yeah, this is a clear violation."
But it might be what you might be seeing there,
Temporary.
Anime, is that was that a CNN? Well, I mean, what news source did you see that on?
Don't forget, it's temporary.
No, I heard it from Alex himself.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, he said that on the show
If it's coming from him, then it's like, okay.
Yeah.
But don't forget, it's only temporary. He still
Yes.
has to come up with the money. He has
Well,
all he's done is get more time.
Well, he still owns
For
it.
his
The
appeal.
auction. The auction
Yeah.
wasn't done properly.
Yes.
So the auction has to go through proper pieces. So yeah, it's. I don't know. There's a part of me. There's a very. What's the right word? Not critical, but the whole. It's almost getting to the point that the absurdity is getting absurd. And
yeah, it's such an absurd parody. It's
right. There's a part of me
bizarre.
that wants to say this whole thing someone went to Alex 6 years ago and said, here's what we're going to do. Here's the show we're going to put on for the whole world. And at the end of it, you'll retire and fade off into nothing and you'll get $100 million. I mean, so what is the cynical side of me is like, is this whole thing just a complete
political sham?
Well, not political. It's just like entertainment.
It's just a sham. Yeah, a money scheme.
Yeah, it's just because the absurdity of what their actions are. They constantly are doing things that are illegal.
Yeah.
Okay, and the two trials, right? The two trials. They have HBO cameras in. They're following scripts. It's just like. So far I'm tracking that it's really happening, and this is the farce part of it is the trials and things that they think they can get away with. But the cynical side of me is starting to believe, how can this drama be going on for 6 years?
Because the majority are selfish.
Yeah, it's just,
don't forget, the majority of Democrats hate Alex Jones, and the rest of them don't care. They think he's
I know they want to, and it's like, okay, when you started, you had essentially Alex Jones, Limbaugh, Sean Hannity when he wasn't, being run by the CIA, and you had Glenn Beck who couldn't decide if he was putting the chalkboard away or not. Right now, there's so many other people. There's people connecting the dots faster than Alex. They're looking at stuff that he hasn't. You have what's the guy that substitutes every once in a while? He's actually, unlike Alex, he'll actually show you the books that they printed, right? You say, hey, here on page 42, paragraph 3, this is what they're saying.
I remember when David Knight started, he outshone Alex, and Alex got really jealous. And
but what I'm saying is
Adam Troyer had to leave. Yeah,
right. You had this going on, huh?
Yeah. What happened to Adam Troyer? He got edged out, didn't he?
Adam Troyer.
He went independent or something?
There's Owen Schroyer. He's still on. He has a show in the afternoon.
Yeah.
He was in jail for a while.
Oh, that's what happened to him. Okay, yeah. Sorry.
You've got Paul Joseph Watson. You have a bunch of people. But now there's the alternative media.
Yes.
There's conservative, there's liberal. You've got people like Dave Rubin and other. You've got, I mean, a gay married man who works for the Blaze. Works for a Mormon, right? So, but they're still going after Alex when Alex was this big, and now he's really this big, and because everything else now, no one else is as big as he is. What I'm saying is the the universe has expanded, and he in many ways is immaterial, not completely, but but yet they still, I don't know if it's a belief that if they finally get him, they can get everyone else, but it's like, but you guys are breaking the law all along. It's not like they pass some laws, whether rightly or not. They didn't, to get him. They're breaking the law to get him over and over and over again, and they're going against. It's just like in Pennsylvania, where the Democrat members of the election committee decided, we're going to, despite what the state Supreme Court, despite what the law says, despite what the state Supreme Court says, despite what the Supreme Court has said, we're going to count these votes that don't have signatures, that we don't have custody, we don't, they're done by illegals and all this stuff.
And Arizona says, hold my beer.
Right. So that's like the cynical side of me sees that. And it's like, well, but what they're doing to Alex, they're doing to, that same mindset is counting illegal votes in Arizona. It's counting illegal votes and I don't mean by like an illegal, I mean a non-valid vote, right?
We're not talking about who casts the vote. I'm talking about the format.
Right. It's a disallowed vote.
It's a disallowed vote. Yes. Ineligible vote. Yes.
Right. So then it's like the cynical side of me is like, well, maybe they have the mind virus is far more real than we think, and there's just no turning back.
I hate to bring up his name, but that's apparently what Crowley was all about. Was that he said in his book, this whole point behind sex magic is to create a mindset, and that's what I think the Democrats have, is they have a self-hypnotic state where they override pattern recognition, right?
Oh, self-hypnotic, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Self-talk. Yeah. That's what and we have this actually, if you look at any of the self-help gurus and how many people follow them and how many of them on the left, and you actually see that most of it is about self-talk. Self-belief. You are the best. You are perfect.
That's why every time I see those gurus on YouTube, I just click skip, because it's like, you know what? I don't trust you people.
They're scams. They're teaching you to be a psychopath. That's what it is. You look at them, they laugh. You tell them the truth and they laugh at you, You tell them that tell them about the dog war in Donbass. They laugh at you and say it's Russian disinformation.
No.
And they don't bother to help you. They don't bother. They just don't.
And you know what the biggest answer is? But if you're right, why isn't it on CNN? And it's like, oh my God. Oh, the government would never allow that. All these coping mechanisms the left have are all built into their self-talk mechanism. Don't forget, it's nothing new, right? The stuff we're talking about, I've seen as kids. And don't forget, every time they fail, they keep refining. And you go back to Roosevelt. He was in love with Hitler. He invited Hitler over to America. He met with Hitler. He spoke with him regularly. He spoke with Stalin regularly. Many of FDR's policies were copied directly from the Nazi regime. He wanted to legitimize the KKK. There was stuff that most people just totally ignore about Roosevelt. And again, they keep talking about Trump and his infidelities. FDR had an affair with a 13-year-old girl. So come on, grow up. Okay? You're the party of evil. Full stop.
I'm amazed he was even able to get it up.
But he was not a cripple. That was his biggest political game. He used the fact that he had a side effect from the polio vaccine to claim he had polio and was disabled. yet many times he was seen walking.
Oh,
He had
kind of
numerous
like that Family Guy episode with Helen Keller. Now that
He
I think
spent
about it,
government money to build a railway tunnel from DC to New York just so he could go to the Wall of Astoria. And the Liberals say that's a conspiracy theory. Yet you look up hidden railways, there are hundreds of them all over the United States.
Mm-hmm.
Underground railways.
Highways too.
Yeah, there's a highway allegedly from that runs through DC, New York, and goes around. It's like makes the Hyperloop look pretty tiny. But you got to wonder how Elon Musk, right? He spent how many $13 million on Hyperloop? Why is it still? Yet if Hyperloop failed, why is it worth $1 billion? What's the bet that the NSA come along and said, tell the public that it's a failure?
Well, the thing about the Hyperloop too is that if it were to have you could get it would be a compression failure. If you had a leak in that vacuum, it could explode out.
No, but what I mean is, if the project was a failure, was the company worth $1 billion and still going, and everything about it is secret? So it's obviously not a failure.
No.
And I don't think it's using vacuum technology. I think it is using I do think it is using low pressure technology to reduce friction. But my guess is that they're doing that to cool the maglev system, and they're using it as an underground pneumatic system to move stuff around. Human traffic.
What is the wasn't the Hyperloop? Wasn't that Elon Musk, or did he sell it?
That was it. No, he's a partner on the program.
Oh, well, what was the thing that? Oh, it's the
he was hired originally to solve the engineering problems, and he did.
Okay. No, there was something in California that they've built. Was it the high-speed rail? There's something when they built like, I don't know, like 2 miles.
High-speed rail. They built like 100 kilometers in so many years. And meanwhile, China's built 10,000 miles.
Yeah, but it's something like something ridiculous, like $8 billion a mile or something.
That's the California highway. Yeah, the California.
They've like built the bridge or something, and that's it. I don't remember, but yeah,
$8 billion. $8 billion for a couple of miles of railway, and it's like what? Yeah. China built an entire rail system for that.
Yeah.
As I said, Japan has built more railway than California. But everybody keeps reminding us that California is the 6th largest economy. Yeah, but that's only because they had oil, and that's actually their revenue shrinking. That's why they're in debt.
Right.
Yeah, California, all your wealth is built on oil. So you shut yourselves in the foot. Oh, but we want clean air. Then stop adding lead to petrol and stop burning and stop. There's a whole lot of things they should stop doing. That would have actually, because it's not actually the problem with California air isn't carbon, it's sulfur.
Yeah. Well, and California just added what, 20, 25, 26 cents a gallon tax on there.
Because they know. I mean, anyway, apparently Elon has been brought in to fix the tunneling system in LA or something. I don't know. But apparently he's now worth $333 billion. He's jumped in value. Because a couple of these companies, not just Tesla, I mean, 12 Chinese companies are on the verge of bankruptcy in EV. Which includes BDY. Apparently, a company in Japan, in partnership with Korea, has produced a hydrogen hybrid engine, basically hybrid electric. Because the original hybrid engines started as diesel electrics, right, for submarines.
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of the technology has been secret for a long time. But apparently, this is the same technology they used to power torpedoes. You know, those, I mean, not the little ones. I mean, you know, the ship killers, right? The really big ones.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, apparently the US are very pissed about that because no, you can't use secret technology. And it's like everybody's going, secret technology? What's that? You know, so there are so many. This is why there are so many channels out there, because there's so much going on. Alex can't cover it all.
Well, Alex doesn't cover anything but Alex anymore. So,
Yeah, which is another reason why. But again, he's reaching that point where he needs to retire. Not has to, needs to, you know, really has to retire. I mean, he's reached a point where he's just run his course, and instead of building people up, instead of it, I guess
Right.
that's because he expected you just tell the public and the message will carry itself.
Yeah. Well, and Limbaugh they had a similar problem where he thought, well, and then when the when the Republicans took the House, well, I think they had Congress under Clinton, a lot of people thought, oh, we're done, and then 2 years later they lost it. Well, they also did infighting again because what we call, you know, the establishment Republicans showed up and said, no, you're really not going to do that.
No, we have to be bipartisan. We have to give both sides a fair hearing. Shut up, liberal.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
But again, that was part of the two-party scam, right?
Yes.
That they're gonna the agenda always moves forward. It is always run by the Democrats, and when the Republicans get elected, at best, they might take 2 steps backward.
Liberals amongst them. That's right.
Right. Instead of moving 6 steps forward this time, we'll move only 1, or maybe we'll move back 1, and then we'll go forward. But then we'll get them out of power because people will get pissy, and I'm staying home this time. I'm not voting for those dang Republicans. And there goes the agenda forward again. That's a long-term planning, you know, long-term.
Because you can't convince people who are working, who are tired, to go through the weeks or months or sometimes years of trying to primary out these useless dildos that are well-worn, well-established that they are not Republicans, whether it be Mitt Romney or Mitch McConnell. They just can't. They just have such a recalcitrant attitude that you speak to their supporters and it's like, you know, in one ear out the other. They just don't listen. They don't hear. They don't see.
The TV programming is to keep them fat, dumb, and happy, and their mind filled of uselessness. You know, game shows and trivia facts. Oh, you know, I might. You know, of course, you're watching. You're not. You're watching Jeopardy. You're not on there winning $20,000. And then when the information that's that matters, there's no room left in there to get in there,
because all they can see is that $20,000 and their imagination of
I get it.
20,000.
I would just rather be left alone, and that's the other problem too. Is a lot of people just want to be left alone, and while they're over here living their life, the people who want to control everyone go, oh, well, no one opposed me, so I got elected, so I guess that means I can enact these laws, even though most people don't want them. But because they're over here too busy living their life, and then they go, what do you mean I got to pay more taxes? When did that happen? Oh, that election you didn't care about because you were too busy living your life and trying to pay your mortgage and raising your children, and walking your dog.
But remember, we were
and watching football, and over here they enacted all this crap that you don't agree with.
Yep, and we were warned thousands of years ago by the Greek scholars not to trust the Athenian liberal, and nobody listened. And Athenian liberals have pretty much, not so much Athenian liberals these days, they're French Jacobins, but they're still the same mindset of the Athenian liberal that we know better, that we're well-to-do. And the thing is, you look at everybody who's succeeded in the last 20 years, and I mean, you got to admit that Trump is one of the few exceptions. But most people have succeeded. Bill Gates, George Soros, Jeff Bezos. I can't think of others, but there'll be a long list of Steve Jobs, Cook, etc. They've all succeeded because they sell to the government, not because they sell to the people. They sell to the government. Obama phones,
Well, yeah. So.
The US stole the mobile phone from Samsung, gave it to Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs claimed he invented it. And to this day, Apple still not has created as good a phone as the original.
Well, the smartphone, you mean, or because the cell phone's been around since the late 70s.
No, I'm talking about the computer phone. They
Yeah,
call it the smartphone, but the original computer phone was way better than the Apple, the one that Steve Jobs came out with.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it.
Nobody has, and even Samsung admits that they themselves haven't been able to come up with anything as good as the original computer phone.
Sorry, doing something on the computer over here.
But the problem is,
they
don't even.
Oh, that's your background, David. I was like, what the heck is that? And I'm like, so I put my hand up here, and it's the thing behind you.
Them,
That's funny because I'm like, there's nothing over there that should be glowing at all.
Or is it? Or is it?
Well, we've got to be glad. We've got to be thankful for Alex Jones, because if Alex Jones didn't get successful, we wouldn't have podcasting. We wouldn't have Joe Rogan. We wouldn't have. See, if they think they get Alex Jones, that's nothing. Alex Jones is not even one day of Joe Rogan.
No, it's again. It's I think the
Dave Rubin has more viewers than Alex Jones.
The Overton window has been shifted so far, so quickly. Well, it's kind of like the boiling water, right? It's warm, and then you suddenly realize hey, wait a minute, it is boiling in here, and and I think this is what has made the Trump 2024 piece far more unique than 2016 or 2020 would have been, because it's not just the last 4 years, it's more than 100 years of setup that, I mean, we still got tough times ahead. We still have economic reckoning coming, but the ball got rolling so quickly that, I mean, Tim Pool and Dave Rubin, you have these either centrist to liberal, won't call them leftists, right? That are like, where the heck did everybody go? And why is everyone that I used to know who kept moving with the train? Because what they didn't realize is they got off at the station and went, hey, we're here.
What happened to a lot of leftists and why they're not leftists anymore? They got successful.
That can help.
Because leftism is primarily an addiction to other people's money. And when you've got your own, you start thinking differently.
Yeah, it's an addiction to complaining all the time. And when you get something,
too. But I'm talking about I'm talking about the college liberal,
But I mean, this is what happened to a lot of people like Dave. I don't them people, but gays could marry and different things. And it's like they achieved their goal,
and now
they got off the train and they thought maybe the train's going to go a little bit, but then all of a sudden the train's 1,000 miles away, and they're like, "What are?" And they want to do what, the kids, and they want to do what?
That's the best analogy I've heard.
The thing is, a lot of people don't know their history. A lot of people don't know their history.
They wanted to get married. They wanted to get married, and as Leif said, they're at that station. It got passed. They can get married. I feel like, and they feel like their job was done. Now they can go marry whoever they want in that
not
community.
Just marry, but they also wanted the right to hire somebody to have a kid for them, and that is actually one of the most fundamental problems and I won't get into the complex sociology of it all, but I know I'm going to offend a lot of people, but most men are not gay. Okay. Most gay men are not gay. Okay. It's a sex addiction.
Yeah. Well, the Michael Savage used to talk about that 15 years ago,
Yeah.
maybe
And
longer.
I'm not saying this
Yeah.
is Dave Rubin or anyone in
I know.
particular, but there are people out there who have quietly admitted the only reason why they're gay is to satisfy their sex addiction.
Right. But yeah, so their success may have been monetary, it may not have been. The other
Yeah.
thing is too is some of these people got into their 40s and they're like they started to reevaluate. You know, it kind of gets us a Churchill that said a person who's not a liberal when they're young has no heart, and person who's still a liberal when they're old has no brain, or something like that.
Yeah.
You know,
Something. Yeah.
and there is an element of the youthfulness clamoring for something they don't have. But the coalition, I mean, if you would have told me probably as little as 2 years ago, but definitely 4 years ago, that Trump will get reelected, he'll have Tulsi Gabbard and RFK Jr., you know, will join forces. They'll because it really has come down to, and this is what's starting to happen in some
People
countries.
keep saying
Britain, I don't think is ever going to get there, but it's literally the survival of their culture, and their country, and their
people,
their ethics.
Yeah.
And it's this other force that wants to destroy all of that completely.
Yeah.
And this is, you know, this kind of thing has happened over and over again in human history, but quite often it's not through elections. It's a literal invasion.
Revolutions,
right?
Yes.
Yeah, or a revolution, and then something sweeps and, you know, you get rid of the king, or, you know, or whatever. But in the past, that was essentially the top level. But this is at the core middle class of the core of the country that has to decide, am I going to stand up and fight for my own family, my own existence? Because I mean, we're talking they're poisoning the food and the air and the water, and you know, it's just they want to stab you with stuff.
I have heard this so many times that people will say this, right? If that were true, why they're poisoning themselves? But the thing is, they have their own diet, they have their own stores, they have their own doctors. I'm telling you right now,
sources,
they have microparticles which they inject themselves routinely to absorb all the radiation in their system. Okay, that's why they have little to no cancer. Okay. Yeah. And then they're going to point to King Charles and say, oh, but Charles was never meant to be king. He's his son felt sorry for him and turned down the job.
No, but I would say they have their own sources for stuff. And then I would also, there's a lot of evidence to suggest that, and even some of the things they say, anything that they would encounter either by an accident or on purpose, they definitely have a cure for, right? They have something that will eradicate it.
That target cancer. This has been shown. There's a Swiss clinic that was exposed 20 years ago by Alex Jones, who seemed to have long forgotten that there are these secret clinics in Switzerland that make billions of dollars on steroids and making people, you know, look, Zelensky went away and 6 weeks later he comes back uber swole, you know?
Yeah. But it's definitely a pivotal moment as to whether, I mean, I think humanity is going to survive, but does Western civilization and self-rule ideals survive?
That's the problem.
That's what's up for grabs.
Marxism, and it is a cancer, and it appeals
it's an absolute evil.
And again, it is centuries of refining liberal establishment. It is, and it has its roots in many fundamentals of evil. which is the worship of self, the taking from others, the forced labor of others, and of course, the ultimate, the elimination of your enemies. Don't let anybody stand in your way, knock down. You look at every self-help guru, there are many marks just waiting to come out and say, when I said knock down your enemies, I meant literally, they're quite literally one step away from coming out, as a total fascist.
Yeah. So anyway, well, guys, we've been at it an hour and a half, and I'm ready to
call it a night.
Call it a night for us. Is there any other things we want to cover quickly before we call it a day, or?
Well, I know it's a conspiracy theory that people thought Trump lost 2020 on purpose, but the question has been asked: where did Biden's 20 million votes come from, and where did they go? Well, apparently, and I don't know if this is true or not, but for every illegal that's crossed the border, for every 2 illegals that's crossed the border, apparently there has been one sent home. That Biden's been keeping the numbers ever since 2020 at a fairly consistent rate, where there's just enough to win, but not enough to lose control.
Yeah. Well, they had fake ballots coming into those states, but people were watching, and
this time they had people waiting at the back door. They had people, they'd figure out.
The Trump campaign had lawyers and other observers that they couldn't kick out of the building. They couldn't do all the shenanigans.
No, I'm talking
water
about
leaks and all that.
I'm talking about people with broken noses decided to take a stand.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Probably. Anything else there, Anime?
Anime?
Well, there's that, and also I feel like we now have a solid we have a solid beachhead right now with this election, because remember, guys, this was our last chance. This was our last chance, and I would have hated to wake up the next day if Kamala won. I've been like, I don't even want to go into work, but I have to. But this whole thing against Matt Gaetz is really ridiculous. And it's fair. It ain't convenient, and it's ridiculous, because now it's like, why now? Who told you this?
Well, apparently are you talking about the allegations, or apparently
his wife
apparently, and it's got even worse. It's like woman.
Apparently, she said that before, but yeah.
This is from NBC News. This broke about an hour ago.
Yeah, or more. They're evil. Full stop.
Woman told House Ethics Committee she saw Gaetz have lots of fun time with an under individual, which is a load of crap. It's a load of crap. It gets worse. It's no longer against the women. So that defeats the entire purpose of.
But wait a minute, complaint. I thought you were all a bunch of. I thought you liked that sort of thing, liberals. Well, you can't. That's the problem.
Everybody should look at this and be like. They should just look at it and thankfully people are seeing it for what it is. It's like, no. This is way too convenient.
Yeah. No. Again, it breaks the rules of evidence, though, because it's hearsay. She's not a victim.
Exactly. And this is why I called them out. And I'm like,
and she's not a lawyer.
You're making it harder. You're making it harder for actual legitimate victims of this type of thing to speak out. I made the claim. I made the call for if anybody, whether you be a man or a woman, I know this is going to sound extreme, but if you falsified about being essayed and everything, you should get the death penalty. I know that's insane, but it should scare them enough. I'm not saying
you should get whatever punishment was handed out to your victim.
Yeah, the accuser should always face the punishment that they wanted to enact on others. Yes. Whoops.
Yeah, because the thing I saw was about some girl that was 17, which is over the age of consent. So it's like, I don't know why this is a thing.
Yeah, it's like it's over the age of consent because
And the thing is, I mean, I hate to be a pearl clutcher, but again, it's liberals want to lower the age of consent in California.
Yeah.
So, but again, it's about them. It's always about them saying that we're just holding you to your rules. Really? Hold yourself to your rules, okay? You're not God. You're not the arbitrator. You don't hold other people to account. But no, they always have to. They think they're holier than thou. Everything's justified. But remember, the reason why they make all this noise is because in the early days of Marxism, they found noise pollutes the jury pool, and the activists always pollute the jury pool, so that when they go before a judge, they say we can't get a fair trial, which is why all these leaks about Diddy are coming from Diddy's friends. They're all out there leaking like a sieve to make sure he can't get a fair trial. This everybody leaking about Diddy should be arrested for interfering with, subverting the course of justice. It's the same with all these activists who keep making all these accusations about Republicans being PDF files. Well, if they were, why didn't do anything in 4 years?
Yeah,
exactly. And it's like, really, what about this, that, and the other?
They always play what if it, yeah.
But I will agree, though, Channel Dad, we have a lot to rebuild right now. There is a lot of work to do.
Well, this is like Normandy, right? We've just taken the beachhead, but we're still stuck behind the hedgerows, right?
Yeah.
And we have, but come January 20th, come January 20th, I think we'll be off that beachhead and into that first hill.
Hopefully, because he's got over 200 appointments, and don't forget, Trump didn't even get through all these appointments the first time. So
here's what, Mr. President, I know you don't watch our show and everything. I know you don't.
But there are people who,
for the love of God, and everybody that loves you, don't walk down the street on Pennsylvania Avenue to the White House like you did in 2016.
Oh yeah, that's mate.
You nearly gave us a heart attack on that one.
Like, yeah, there are people who know that there's number 3 has already been thwarted, and they already know that 4, 5, and 6 are in the planning.
So they are planning. For the love of God, don't walk down the street.
Joy Reid should be in jail. Oh, he came out and said, "Don't stop."
Wait, what's going on with Joy Reid right now? I heard she's being replaced.
Yeah, she went too far this time. I think it's possible that she may be fired because she might have actually told people planning to do a criminal act towards Donald Trump to not stop trying.
Oh,
I think it's true. I don't know if it's true, but I think it's true that Disney are looking to pretty much alleviate themselves of ABC and all their other affiliates because it's losing the money. They bought it because they wanted the advertising, but it's become such a headache because you know why Hollywood's really crying? Because they found out on November 5th that their influence no longer
works.
Exactly. So on that note,
they're still crying.
Yeah. On that note, hey, Stephen King, fuck off. You leaving Twitter will make it less toxic.
Yeah, really. Yeah, any of these wackadoodles who claim they're going to leave, I will help you pack.
I don't think Stephen King's publicist will leave Twitter. I think Stephen King will just go and cry for a couple of weeks because half of Maine is now staunch red.
Yeah. All righty, guys.
All right.
Well, everyone have a good weekend.
Thanks, everybody.
And see you next week.
And don't forget,
you got David's QR code there, and check out his book. And I need to check out your books for certain. I got so much. I'm back ordered on stuff that I've gotten I haven't read yet. So, all right, everybody, have a good one. And let's see. I think I just hit end. I don't know, but we're going to get the goodbye outro or we're not. I don't know. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Good day, sir.
Later, dudes.
Good night, Jimbo.
Hell, I got to go.
Peace out.
Burn in hell, New World Order. Fuck you. Fuck you, New World Order. Fuck you, Bill Gates.
I love you. You gotta do better than that. I love you.